Hi friends, Emily Midgett here with you today on the Pinkfresh Studio YouTube channel, and today I have a fun gatefold card with some really fun techniques using the Spellbinders BetterPress and some of the new BetterPress plates that have come out from Pinkfresh Studio. So first we're going to have the Breezy Blossoms stamp set, or BetterPress set, paired with the stippled plaid BetterPress background plate, which goes really nicely with the blanket stitched circle BetterPress plate. And then we're going to pair that with the Basic Banners Celebrate stamp set, the Favorite Things Sentiments BetterPress plates, and then I have two 5x7 panels of porcelain BetterPress paper, a full 8.5 by 11 sheet of vellum, some iridescent white pearl cardstock, metallic watercolors, peony and hydrangea ink from Pinkfresh Studio, garnet BetterPress ink, and then a scoreboard and bone folder. Now, there's a lot of supplies for this, but it's a really fun, unique card that I am really enjoying playing with the BetterPress machine to get lots of different fun techniques. So to start, I have embossed or debossed, I guess, BetterPress letterpressed the stippled plaid background just without inking it up at all, just to create that texture on our first panel of porcelain letterpress paper. So there's no color on that, it's only the texture. And then I have used garnet BetterPress ink with the Breezy Blossoms BetterPress plate set to create this really pretty pink. They kind of remind me of cherry blossoms. They're just really delicate, lovely little flowers. And they create, when you use the dye with it, it creates lots of different floral die cuts with one die cut through your die cut machine. So I think that's always such a great feature of the Pinkfresh products, because you can get lots of die cuts with one pass through your machine. So now I am using the coordinating stencils for the Breezy Blossoms BetterPress plate set, and I'm using that peony and hydrangea ink. The peony is a very close match for that garnet ink from Spellbinders BetterPress ink, and I've paired it with the hydrangea ink, which is a really lovely shade of light purple, kind of a medium purple actually. And I'm just adding some very subtle ink blending using the Pinkfresh Studio detail blending brushes. These brushes are small, so it makes it really easy to just add some very light, specific ink blending. And I'm not using all of the stencils. I do not want to use every single layer of these stencils, because some of them have a little bit more detail than others. And since I'm only using 2 shades of ink, I don't want tons and tons of detail. I want just the suggestion of color, the suggestion of shape and depth and dimension. I'm paying more attention to where my ink is going rather than the layers of the stencils. So that's one of the great things that you can customize with stencils. You don't have to use every single layer of your stencils. So here you can see the finished product. Again, it's just about where you're placing your ink more than anything else. So now to create that gatefold card, what we're going to do is cut a 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece of vellum cardstock, and then we're also going to cut a 1 inch by 11 inch strip of that pearlescent white cardstock, and we're going to do some fancy scoring. So I have scored this piece of vellum cardstock at 2 3/4 inches. Then I flip it over and then score it again at 2 3/4 inches, which creates a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch rectangle smack in the center of that long strip of cardstock with a symmetrical gate flap on either side. And so now to create the band for our gatefold card, I'm taking that long skinny strip of cardstock, I'm scoring at 2 5/8 inches on one side, flip it over, and score at 2 3/4 inches on the other side. Scoring it at the 2 5/8 gives you just a little bit of wiggle room when it comes to making sure that your gatefold card fits all the way through comfortably. Because once we add those extra layers, it might be a little bit snug. So adding that little bit of extra space gives you a little bit of wiggle room. And so now you can see kind of the idea of once it's assembled. And so we're going to add some very an embellished circle on the front, and that's going to cover up that gap that you saw when we folded everything together. So now I'm just taking that stippled plaid background that I created, and I'm going to add some ink blending over the top. Now, I did not add any ink to the BetterPress plate itself because I wanted to add just some very subtle ink blending around the edge. And when you ink blend over those BetterPressed backgrounds, the ink kind of saturates or condenses into those impressed images on the paper. So it creates kind of a subtle pattern, and I'm using both the peony and the hydrangea ink to create kind of a glow on my background of my card. This is going to be the interior of our gatefold card. So you can see the lovely kind of glow that I've created with using both of those ink colors. And now we're going to add a sentiment. I have placed a sentiment from the Favorite Things Sentiments BetterPress set in the center of my background, and I am using kind of a reverse technique to pick up that BetterPress plate so that it stays exactly where I want it. The BetterPress background is magnetic, and so when you place the circular magnets at the top and bottom, they go in the same place every time. So you can be sure that your image is going to go exactly where you want it as long as you kind of do it backwards. If you place your image on the platen backwards. So I think that's just a really fun technique, a little extra, something extra that you can have in your back pocket to get those images exactly where you want them. So now I have die cut the blanket stitch circle from some more of that pearlescent white cardstock. It's kind of an iridescent white pearl cardstock, and I'm using one of the Basic Banners Celebrate dies. Now I have stamped these sentiments onto some white cardstock using hydrangea ink. I did this for a release project a couple of months ago. And I stamped it with hydrangea ink, then stamped again using my Misty with embossing ink. And then I sprinkled some iridescent purple embossing powder over the top, which is kind of a sheer embossing powder. It just adds that an extra iridescent shine to that embossed image. So that's what I've pulled that because the Celebrate image or Celebrate sentiment, I think really goes nicely with the sentiment on the inside of the card that says, I hope today is filled with your favorite things. And so I'm just embellishing that sweet banner sentiment that I have placed in the center of my my blanket stitch circle die cut. I'm embellishing that with some of the floral die cuts that we created with the Breezy Blossoms BetterPress plate and coordinating stencil set. And so I'm keeping the color palette very muted, very delicate and kind of springy because these flowers are very delicate. They're kind of whimsical. They're lovely, lovely images. And you don't have to do anything super exciting with them for them to be absolutely gorgeous. Isha did a very beautiful job illustrating these. And so now I am taking that blended BetterPressed panel, double BetterPressed panel, and placing it, adhering it in the center of our vellum gatefold card. And I'm going to add some very strong double-sided adhesive to the ends of my belly band, and I'm just going to adhere that embellished circle in the center of that belly band. And so now I'm going to remove the adhesive and check it out how nicely this fits over the top of our finished card. I think that is such a fun and interesting way to add something extra to a really fun celebration card like this one. So this could be used for a baby shower, a wedding shower, a birthday, just I hope you're having a great day. And now to make it a little bit extra special, I am adding I added some Twilight glitter drops and this is just some handmade glitter watercolors that I got on Etsy. And I'm adding them to the flower centers and the stamen. ends of these pretty cherry blossoms. And I think that adds just a little bit of something extra because they're super sparkly. You can't tell it as much in the photos, but in real life, they're just crazy sparkly. And now you can see we're going to slide that finished belly band over the top of our Gatefold card. And it's just, I think this is such a unique card. This is the first time I've ever done a card like this, and I was so excited at how well it came out. So I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope you learned something. I hope maybe you'll try out a new fold on your cards. I hope you will try out the double BetterPress technique that I shared, because I think that works so nicely, and it's such an interesting way to add something extra fun to your card. So thanks so much for watching. If you liked the video, give us a thumbs up and maybe hit the subscribe button to hear more content from us in the future. Have a great day. Bye.